Stan, you are on the vacation for a week, and this is the title of the video you're coming up with after it? Yes, I do. There are a lot of things happening on the marketplace currently, but I'm going to talk about something that is controlling my mindshare, my personal mindshare for quite some time already. Let's talk about ND on Ethereum. Let's talk about the thesis for ND on Ethereum. Let's talk about execution. Let's figure out, is this a nice time to buy at this stage? Is this the time to sell? What's next? Will ND on Ethereum become ultimate beta for Ethereum meme coins, for Pepe? Will it kill other Ethereum betas and just be on the forefront of this market, a king of this market, sucking up liquidity from all the meme coins that I actually hold and love to the bottom of my heart? Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you don't want me to take vacations moving forward as well. And let's actually start. We have some good meme coin analysis today, something that will actually help you to make money in this market. I bought $150,000 of ND on Ethereum. This is one of the wallets. Right now I have $66,000 worth of ND on Ethereum, and this is just wallet number 3. It's called ND3. I have 2 more wallets with some more funds there as well. Overall, totally, it's about $150,000 worth of ND on Ethereum right now, and I was actually buying a bit before. So I think the last purchase I made was at 180 million market cap. We'll go through structure for this thing and start with the point number 1, why I actually did this, plus the thesis that not a lot of market participants seem to understand yet, as it is not publicly shared and adopted. And as you know, following this channel, when there are theses that are not yet adopted by the market, this means that there should be certain upside right there. Let's actually see. ND on Ethereum showed a great run based on the nice execution of Max and his team, market makers, efforts of the community, and whales not selling. Very interesting. We will cover this closer to the end of the video as well. Max is introducing something new to the marketplace that not a lot of the memes have in the first place, which results in price action recently that was not seen by other meme projects, as investors have additional trust and safety due to these certain factors. You can say that this type of price action was seen on Mock and other memes as well, but still it's quite interesting in the first place. Thesis that is not adopted at this stage, adopted by smart players, just not by the market heavily yet, means there might be some upside into it short term. I expect this exact thing to get adopted later. ND on Ethereum is a bet on Max as an influencer and business owner this cycle. This is a very, very important thing. Just understand this in the first place. Maybe at some stage he would want to decouple himself. Most likely not. There are no options to buy the shares of crypto media companies at this stage, and meme coins that they are promoting, the main ones they are associating themselves with, is actually the only way to get exposure and bet on the success of these companies. I believe they are actually safest bets on the market and have a high chance to appreciate in value over time. Another example is Tucker, Buy Crypto, Banter as well. This is something you actually would want to put your money in as well, because I believe that Crypto Banter over the time, it will attract the largest amount of retail players, essentially like the largest media channel, media company currently in the market. So it might be a very, very interesting bet as well. Therefore, if you think a specific person or a company will do well consistently, and what's important is that they are focusing their attention on this one meme coin, and Max kind of showed it already, because there were definitely options where he could have switched. Some of his team members even switched to other memes. He's just focused on the one thing, which is very, very important in the first place. This is quite safe scenario to follow, similar to stock investment in a way. Obviously, no one can guarantee anything, but if you think that the person will stick around, there will definitely be liquidity inflows from media companies and channels growing, media channels growing, crypto channels growing, because you have the option to bet on Alex Becker and Elliot Trace, for example. Currently, you would probably buy Super, or you'd probably buy Bytes, right? But the thing with them is that they are not meme coins. Gaming projects, they are meme coins in a way. They are a separate category of memes in the first place. But unfortunately, they tend to underperform memes in the first place. And narrative with Andy on Ethereum, it's a great narrative because it essentially was stolen in the first place, right? But it's a great narrative, and narrative of Andy on Ethereum and Andy, just Andy in general, is quite nice in comparison to narrative of some random gaming projects, right? It's a stronger narrative because Pepe will be doing very, very well this cycle. In my opinion, it pumped when competition seemed to struggle. Speaking about Bobo, some other things as well, but we will see what will be happening, is because we're still in risk of environment. This is something I was actually sharing in my private Discord when AND was at around 130 million, where someone just asked me about it. And people are looking for comfort in stability and feel too much pain from the recent dump and bear market. And people behind the project were able to provide this comfort very, very well. And we will talk about these things as well, because there are very, very interesting categories and factors there. Doxed founder out of the US, explanation and constant adding of additional pillars of conviction to Memecoins through charting and TA. This is the innovation that Max and his team actually brought into the marketplace. This is how they were able to help Brett to pump. This is how they actually pumped lower caps on Ethereum as well, back in the days when they were talking about them. This is something very, very interesting. This is innovation, and as innovation, it will probably, because I thought that it has a chance of dying out, but I think it will actually survive at least till the end of the cycle, because we will actually talk about this, because it's questionable to do a TA on lower caps on Memecoins, especially when you're working with a market maker and control a large percentage of supply, but people are willing to get deceived, and as right curve players, we have to follow it. We have to understand that mid curve people, they will get deceived more and more time. Flawless execution and new stance in the marketing of Memecoins through TA and charts. Innovation. Market innovation was seen and experienced through the push of Andy on Ethereum. Same as was used for Brett and other smaller caps memes. I just told you about that Max initially started to create his videos on, specifically talking about charts and comparing them to like Pepe. In general, if you would compare any meme token, it will outperform Pepe because it has a lower market cap. So it's all a psyop to a certain extent. And on this channel, I'm just telling you to do this like straightforwardly, and I am the holder of the project myself. It's kind of in my interest, but I'm just betting that it won't get like a large viewership in the first place initially. I'm just educating the audience, and I'm just showing that we have to right curve thing, exactly as I've done with Brett. I entered long, people called me a scammer. Right now I'm up $130,000, something around that. Who's wrong? I'm not. That's for sure. Chart and memes is something that was never heavily done before. It tends to attract the public that thinks they know something about TA. In reality, most don't. It tends to calm investors down. Main thing in this market, if you can, because in crypto, it's very stressful. If you actually can provide to your audience, to your holders, a pillar of comfort, a pillar of confidence, man, this thing will just appreciate in value. Main thing in this market, if you can give comfort and safety, you and the assets you push get appreciated in value. Everyone is just too stressed in this market, and it gives an additional reason of legitimacy for Memecoins, and they don't have much. Therefore, doing TA on a Memecoins is very interesting and important thing to do to add additional pillar of confidence in the eyes of investors. There is lack of substance for Memecoins in the first place. TA is a pillar that actually adds additional substance. It's very, very important. It cannot be actually neglected. Very important. And this interesting way of psyoping, of comparing to large cap and comparing different charts, how things are trading to each other, it's very, very convincing, and it's done very, very nicely in the first place as well. Can TA really be done on the Memecoins? To a certain extent, but to the most part, it's general consensus TA does not work for small caps. Too many market participants capable of heavy movement in the charts, either with selling or buying. It's a very, very important thing that too many participants can actually move the charts with buying as well, because we tend to focus on selling, people dumping and things like that. But if I'm buying $20,000 worth of a meme coin that has 1 million market cap, I'm moving the chart. And this is not something you can actually see in the TA happening. If a group of people running the project controls a certain percentage of supply, not even a large one, and works with market maker, they can often draw anything on the chart and base the public TA on it to persuade even more people to buy in. So it's very, very easy. You draw levels on the TA, and then with the market maker, you make sure that these levels are actually achieved. You pretty much draw the chart according to your TA, and it works like people checking out your TA, seeing that it's happening, and buying even more, because they start to trust you more and more and more. It's a very, very nice type of flywheel to actually implement in the first place. It's quite smart. High IQ players on the market understand it and follow the best deceivers, as they understand that mid-curve people thinking they know something, in fact they know nothing, will serve as exit liquidity or good holders for the token moving forward. Continuation of the point number 4. Execution on the project was great and should be great moving forward. We are at the interesting point where, in my opinion, the focus should change a bit on attracting larger capital and explaining them why it's safe and alright to invest to multiply the funds. Although I expect a correction quite soon where large capital guys might be entering. There is a reason why people with large capital have large capital in the first place, so we will see. At the same time, there are a bunch of people in this world with crazy amount of capitals who will feel the same FOMO. When BTC is more than 100k, it will be just crazy. Nothing goes up in a straight line, but the price action and community is quite strong so far, and we definitely have factors here we don't have in other memes out there. US-based doxed promotion figure. This is one of the most important things. I would focus on this as well, because this is innovation in a way as well. We'll talk about this. Decision to push the project on Ethereum is the one of main ones in the success of the project, because obviously I was buying Endian Blast, I'm holding my Endian Blast, I think my Endian Blast will be doing well, we have Endian Base, we have Endian Solana, but in general, if you are competing with these type of meme coins, being on Ethereum kind of makes sense in the first place, because it has a larger exposure to the larger liquidity on the marketplace. Therefore, it's kind of like a winning bet in the first place. You're entering the race, but your car is just better. And other people, they're just on horses and things like that. You might want to bet on the horse if you think that long term it will still receive liquidity. That's, for example, my bet with Blast, because my exposure to Endian Blast is pretty much me betting on Blast, because I do think it will be winning Ethereum layer 2 race, and it will actually be winning base. I think that Blast will be flipping base, and it's already flipping base because liquidity on Blast is already larger. And meme coins on Blast, they're terribly underappreciated currently. It's just so funny to see. And I saw a tweet from large account yesterday. It got like 90k views. The guy was saying that largest meme on base is $1 billion, largest meme on Blast is $50 million. I'm kind of leaving the direction of the presentation, right? From community wallet, here's journey. Mindshare control, grift of other meme coin communities, TA innovation, fake volumes at the start of the project, and market makers' close collaboration. Execution is definitely great. Great use of a great narrative, which was kind of stolen in the first place, but it's a very, very interesting type of thought process there, because it's a great narrative, and it's better for this narrative to get stolen and be executed by the team that at least are doxed in the US. They won't be dumping because they will probably go to jail in this case, right? And it's better for this narrative to actually get used by this type of people, right? Than for this narrative to get used by scammers, like most likely guys on Solana, right? So it's a very, very interesting thing, but it does not neglect the point that first is first, and first thing was obviously created on Blast. First Andy appeared on Blast as a yellow character on yellow chain. Several innovation points were provided by the project to the market. Main ones included doxed US-based founder, ability to make a bet on his media company in this market. This is something that market does not understand yet. A lot of people, they understand it to a certain extent, but when the shift will be happening, this is something that I'm actually looking for, because we need to see the correlation between stocks here, because you can kind of say that with buying Indian Ethereum, you're actually buying like a share of Max influence and a share of his company because Bitcoin on the market as well. And it's very, very interesting. That's something that not appreciated on the market currently. That's something that might be used as the thesis moving forward. And this, I think it's a very, very strong thesis at this stage. I'm kind of giving it away, and we'll see what will be happening. But this is a very, you don't have something like this, And this is the asset. This is a meme coin that should be outperforming all the assets, because meme coins, they're outperforming all the assets. And it has a crazy good stolen narrative in the first place. On top with the nice execution, things like that. So it's a very, very interesting setup, I would say, because people are kind of tired from these like anonymous teams on the marketplace and things like that. And I'm not saying that these things won't run. They will probably run anyway, right? But it's just a very, very interesting innovation that is happening on the market that we did not see previously, right? Memecoins charting, something I shared as well, and hero's journey. We'll actually cover hero's journey as well. I will tell you what is it. I will explain. Everything that you love as a human being in life is actually based on hero's journey. Any type of show, any type of thing that you watch in the cinema and things like that, along several others, such as Crazy Nice Narrative, which was taken, right? Hero's journey. Max received a lot of hate from other indie communities that were bigger at the time that the token was launching. Reborn from the dead, because it was launched on Ethereum initially as pump and dump, and then it was reborn from the dead by Max and his friends buying out the supply when the token price was very, very low. They were buying the supply for a couple of weeks. You can actually see this on chain. As well as from Boba communities as other OG meme tokens. I was unfortunately the one who was exposing aggressiveness towards Max as well. I apologize for that. I definitely did not want to do that. I don't think it's a great behavior to have in the marketplace, but that's kind of something that we can experience as human beings as well, right? At the same time, it was a very, very interesting control of the mindshare. If I would have more experience as an investor, I would probably just be buying at the same time, just by understanding that what type of emotions I actually feel myself. That the guy controls the mindshare, that the project controls the mindshare. And this mindshare will serve as fuel to actually pump the price of the project moving further as well. It's interesting that this is something I was actually sharing in my DMs to Max as well. I said something like, if I would have more experience, just by understanding how well the mindshare was controlled, I would probably just bought in the first place myself. This is something I shared actually in DMs with Max. I think unfortunately he did not respond to me. He's a busy guy currently. His response to the DM was 100k at this stage. And other communities like Boba communities and others. So he's constantly kind of sharing still that Andy is like best Peppa Beta, the only one on the market and things like that. So he's definitely like trying to take this place. To a certain extent, I would say that this place is already taken. But again, we do have rotation of liquidity on the marketplace. Like nothing can suck up liquidity fully from something. It can suck up liquidity to a certain extent. I would definitely love Boba to be at the position of Andy on ETH. At the same time, like the liquidity that they have, it's pretty much similar. Like if you would want to have Boba in the market cap of 250 million, you would have not like 4 or 5 million of liquidity. You would have like probably 7, 8, 10. So it's different amount of money in the first place as well. So liquidity still tend to rotate in the first place, but it's a very, very interesting situation nevertheless. That was not very smart from the community members, but Max is an expert controller of the mindshare. We will talk on this a bit later. It's very important. Definitely, he's an expert controller of the mindshare. I felt it. I will have some analogies that you will probably like. The hate fueled the run and created hero's journey for the token that is greatly appreciated, not just in crypto investment, but in general anywhere in life. It helped the token to push initially. Right now, it does not influence the price action of it much. I also feel like Andy on ETH became this escape point for people who missed Boba, for people who were mid-curving Boba, for people who were mid-curving other Ethereum memes, including Pepper Whales as well. I think like maybe James Wynn and some others, right? They used this as escape because they mid-curved Boba and others. They did not make money on it, and that's why they actually used this one, and they started to promote it as well. And some people who were late to things like Boba and others, and essentially Max himself, if he was not late to Boba himself, he would be just promoting Boba, right? But this is something that happened on the marketplace. If you have resources, if you have skills, it's better for you to not be buying into the current project. You can just launch something from scratch and pump it as something you actually can do yourself, as something that, for example, was done by Brett, right? Because Brett teams and guys around Brett, they were shitting on Coinbase. They were saying that Coinbase is a scam chain by US officials and things like that. And after that, what happened is that Toshi pumped the thesis of base chain that was created by Daniel Den, who is pretty much the main kind of promotion figure behind Toshi, was adopted by the market, and they created this base season, right? They launched a bunch of scams on base, and they also launched Brett, and they kind of stole this liquidity out of Toshi and stole this number one position just through better execution, because they just have the things figured out better. But again, liquidity tends to rotate. Certain projects at certain level, they will top out, and liquidity will be rotating in lower caps in essentially Toshi as well, from my opinion. Holder base. Another interesting thing that was implemented with Max is creating a chat of whales, top holders of ND token. He mentioned about it on several spaces. This helps to coordinate the price action, persuade people better on not to sell, as the main figure behind the project can talk to them, they feel connection, they feel like they're not alone, etc. It's a very interesting and important implementation for this specific project as well. All this one, I believe, was implemented for some others already. I do think that holders chat, they are present in some other projects as well, but it's a very, very interesting actually way to kind of connect all the whales, to make sure that they're communicating, to make sure that no one is dumping, to kind of propaganda and brainwash them as well. In the comment chat, and this is something that's definitely happening, because I listened to these whales on spaces. This is the type of whales you actually want to have on the project. I'm sharing things that some of them might not like further, but this is just my personal opinion. Listening to Andy spaces, several people there did not have a high IQ. This is interesting, but this is the holder base you actually want for the token. Diehards that will be willing to hold to Valhalla without selling a single penny. It's kind of similar type of holder base of guys that you kind of have on Solana as well. And I'm not saying that they're dumb. They're most likely making way more money than me at this stage with Andy on Ethereum. Therefore, you might say that I'm dumb and they're smart. It's just that from the things that they're sharing, I just saw that, right? Max is good at attracting Americans. And this is one of the interesting things that he has, and this project actually has. There are no doxed influential figures in the US pushing their own meme coins. And culturally, people from the same culture will get attracted to each other. This is a very, very interesting point, because we always talk about racism, inclusion in the US, that like there are no immigrants because everyone is immigrant. Bullshit. I am doing international years for many, many years already. There are clients that would just not work with us, figuring out that we are from Eastern Europe. It's just not happening in the first place. There are a bunch of people like that in the US, and there are a bunch of people like that that will not get attracted to this channel, that will not get attracted to other shows in other different parts of the world, that will specifically get attracted to the show based in the US, provided by US-based guys. Because if you would actually think about that, like there are no larger proper crypto media shows, especially new ones, that are out of the US. And I do believe that Max actually have a high chance of taking the market share out of crypto media companies in the US this cycle. Very, very interesting situation at this stage. And something I have to finalize with is that that's the edge that he actually has in comparison to all the other media people in this space. And it's a nice one, as it generally attracts people with the largest amount of liquidity in the world. Because who has the most money? Guys in the US, right? Mental abuse, emotionally in a good way. Speaking from my experience, mindshare control with this specific token was crazy. I think personally, I checked the chart of Andy on Ethereum way more frequent than other projects. Mainly it's because a lot of liquidity for Andy on Ethereum was stolen from the tokens I was pushing or I hold in my portfolio. I even kind of feel in the way that it was a psyop created by Max and his team to kind of fuck me, right? I might be just thinking too much of myself, right? Don't think it will stay there forever. Liquidity tends to rotate and people tend to find opportunities on the market and rotate as well. In some cases, I felt like a 19-year-old girl in a relationship with a 40-year-old man mentally abusing her, and she liked it. I believe a lot of people in the marketplace feel the same way, giving away the mindshare to the project, and it doesn't matter if you're giving away positive or negative energy, it serves as fuel for the project anyway. Obviously, it's a joke in the first place. I can't say I liked it, right? But this is something that I felt because I heard this type of stories of younger girls dating older men, and older men kind of just playing with them, abusing them. And for younger girls, these older men, they become like emotional drugs, right, in the first place, because they know this stuff and they become very, very addicted to them. That's something that I actually feel that Max is a master of, with the thing how things are structured with Andy on Ethereum. Yeah, that's why I believe Max is a master of it, and he should be quite good with women. That's just funny thing that I think from my end. And me personally, despite my looks, right, I'm not very, very good with women. I'm good with my keyboard and I'm good with sitting in my apartment for months and not leaving it, right? Mindshare is a very important concept in crypto investing, and if a project has an ability to control or a figure behind the project, that is something to pay attention to. That's something that's happened with Solana. This is one of the main reasons I actually longed bread during the FUD, and people called me a scammer and called that I was paid and things like that. The reason I longed it because I understood that if this thing will survive, it will run like crazy just because people will hate on it and they will fuel the run. Exactly the same thing that actually was kind of happening with Andy on Ethereum. But at the same time, nothing runs just in straight line, right? Everything has corrections. Am I selling everything else and repositioning? No, I mostly bought my position with PayPal on profits. Interesting rotation as well, if you would think about it. I learned to buy bottom charts and don't FOMO into something that did 7x for a certain group of holders already. At a certain stage, once euphoria is over, they will want to sell. Despite them being in the chat with Max and things like that, that's something that is usually happening with most of these projects, especially with Memecoins. A project definitely shows an interesting and strong price action up to date, because I was checking out the dips, and dips were bought heavily on the run up. We will see if they will be bought heavily on the run down, right? I'd love to have more exposure, but personally won't be getting it at these levels. As I was saying in some of the previous videos, if you don't have enough exposure to the token, just hold. And over time, you will get it, right? Because on the chart, you only have two things, price and time. If you want more price, you need time. However, once opportunities will present themselves, they might get taken advantage of quickly by the larger capital. All the market follows attention, and opportunity is lucrative, even for people with money, when everyone is talking about it and when something is fresh and cool. When a 300 million market cap project does a 2x, people that bought $1,000 worth of it recently are making $2,000, which is not much. It mostly the older holders that are whales who are happy about the pump, making most of the money. It would be interesting to see how the project will manage to pump further, attract larger capital, persuading the audience it's still early, persuading there is still enormous upside left, etc., etc. Because I feel like, you know, at certain growth of any business, a certain growth of certain things, sometimes people tend to overcomplicate things, and just previous things, they're just working just on the larger scale, and often you just need to figure out how to scale your previous operations, then trying to figure out something new, implement something new. And I burned like millions of dollars on this. I burned millions of dollars, bunch of time as well, by trying to figure out something new instead of just scaling the things that are working already. That's like one of the mistakes that I tend to overcomplicate things in life, in business, and crypto as well. So it's interesting what type of persuading tactics will essentially get used moving forward as well, because I do believe that you know, if you're taking antibiotics too much, your body starts to be resilient to antibiotics, and you need stronger and stronger and stronger antibiotics, right? And this is something that might be happening here as well, that all the ways of persuading people to the current market cap, they might not work moving further. At the same time, there might be something psychologically, because it's quite hard to push and work with the same type of excitement, I would say, once you're already at like a certain level, once you hold millions of dollars in your wallet of the project. We have something like this happening with Crash, which is very, very interesting. He is pushing bread, despite him having probably tens of millions of dollars in bread at this stage, which definitely very, very interesting, which is definitely something that you actually want to see from the person. We would see if there would be certain exertion from Andy and what type of like further marketing psyops will be used moving forward. The one that I'm proposing for my end, that change perception in the eyes of the market, that this is actually like a stock, with you having an option to bet on the crypto media company that have a chance of taking US-based audience and taking hundreds of millions of dollars from the valuation of other companies in the market. And all they had to do is to support Andy on Blast, and I was DMing them about it, right? But anyway, this would be one of the strongest things, because people are doing stupid shit in the stock market. They're buying NVIDIA like $1 trillion valuation to get like what, 3% upside, 5% upside. But this is a very, very strong thing in the first place. Let's see what will be happening with this one. Upside, in my opinion, safer bet for larger whales. I do believe that most of the current upside is for the larger whales with large amounts of money. They also might not want to buy at these levels and wait for a correction. If you're entering currently with a low amount of funds, there is too much liquidity for you to even get a 2x at this stage. At the same time, there might be a case where whales will recognize the thesis I'm sharing on using the meme as a stock for a media company. And with stocks, people are entering $1 trillion market cap companies. If there will be a shift in positioning right there, it might be able to push over time. Even here, I'm front running myself. I just said it and I have it written here as well. Interesting thought that I also have from my end is that, yeah, from one point of view, you might think like you're already too late and things like that. From the other point of view, you have to understand that betting on survivors, on things that will survive and appreciate in value in pump on this marketplace, is the best thing you can actually do on the market, because all of us, even people with like the most craziest prediction over the valuations on this market, all of us, we underestimate the amounts of liquidity, amounts of degeneracy, amounts of pump that will be happening in this market moving further with us entering euphoria stage. A lot of us will actually be selling before that and missing the main round because we have too much PTSD from the bear market, right? But I think we are missing the fact on how much things will get appreciated. And if you are positioning yourself in the asset that will be surviving or have a high chance of survival, this just might get appreciated in value heavily. And often most, when you just position yourself with size in the asset that will have a high chance of survival, you will make a lot of money, because there is just too much cases in this market where you can put like chunk of money into something that's close to that or is a scam, and you will be losing money. And you are just better off holding in something that you think will be surviving moving forward. Some tokens that are showing resilience, some tokens that went through bear market, right? With the holders holding through many, many dips and things like that. This is something to think on. This is a very, very important thought, I would say. Local top or higher, personally, I feel toppy at this stage. Too many people got too many access and feel like Mindshare is leaving the project. This is how I feel personally at this stage. I tend to care less this week about Andy on Ethereum, and I tend to feel these things first, because I tend to feel these things very well. The reason I feel them very, very well is the reason why I tend to feel them first. I was thinking to swap in my Andy on Ethereum into Elon, like fully, yesterday. I think if I would do that, I would just be making so much money. But this bitch inside me, over time, when I will keep seeing me losing millions and millions of dollars of not taking actions on gut feelings that I have, I will probably learn, right? Not only in Elon, I think you can actually also swap on Andy on Ethereum and Boba currently. You'll probably multiply your profits at this stage. I'm telling you this as the holder of the token myself. Yeah, so you can say that I'm an interested person here. Let's move on with the final thesis. Let's do our spreadsheet with Andy on Ethereum. Is there a notable solid flow of capital you are recognizing to come into this coin sector in the future? Well, it's been marketed as Pepe Beta. It's on Ethereum as well. Ethereum should appreciate in price. Some liquidity from Pepe should eventually end up in betas of Pepe in the first place. I would say so. I would put it in 8 just because of the reason that I don't think it will be happening short term. I think it might be happening longer term. Is there a big difference between current interest and future interest in the coin sector, popular or mispriced? That's hard to say because we just pumped. If this new thesis will get appreciated by Max and his team, if they will adopt it, if they would steal it one more time from Stan, this is something that might push it further because it's a very, very strong thing, right? We will see. No one knows. I would just put it at 7 just because of the way that we are pumped currently, right? Long term, maybe yes. Is it hard to buy a coin? No, it's on the exchanges, it's everywhere. Yeah, we don't have something like that. Who's your exit liquidity? Mid-curvers who think that they know TA, but they're being deceived, that's for sure. One of the issues that I have is that I would say that content of Max and because Bitcoin team is not very, very retail friendly. It makes sense in this part of the market, but I think they should switch. I think they should, in general, they should organize the show a bit better. I think they should use some things that are working for other companies in the market, and I think they actually need to recognize $1 billion opportunity, because with this meme coin, like, let's say it's at 6 billion, let's say it's at 10 billion, right? Personally, if you're Max, for example, you would be able to take profits maybe like on 20 million, like 30 million, right? Because if you would take more, you would probably just dump the whole thing and people will just hate you in the first place, right? But if you would be focusing on building a crypto media company in the US, structuring it like a show, because currently just friends talking, it's nice, but yeah, it's just, I would say it's for current market participants. It's not for the retail currently. You would be taking hundreds of millions in valuation from other crypto media companies currently, and you would be taking over the US market in the first place. And it's definitely $1 billion opportunity. It can easily be $1 billion exit, if not more, at the top of the cycle. With some crazy guys like fund managers feeling huge FOMO that they missed crypto. I know stories about owners of family funds wanting to buy centralized exchanges at the peak of the last market for like 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. That's obviously not billions, right? But it's also not a crypto media company that's focused on the US audience and that's taken over largest audience with the largest purchasing power, including all the things about crypto, about elections, all the things happening in the US on the matter. It's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Focusing, I'm not telling anyone, I'm not advising anyone to stop like focusing on the Memecoin. It's nice, but there is just a very great opportunity out there. An interesting thing is that if the media company will grow, the Memecoin will grow as well, just through exposure to more people as well. So you can't lose if you're focusing on it. I think this should be the main focus for these people, for Max in the first place as well. It's really, he has something that not a lot of us have. He's American, and he is very, very likable American for other Americans, I would say. He's like from like smaller town and things like he's your guy from your town, right? It's something that you can definitely feel. So yeah, this is something I think that they should pivot to. This is something that I think that they should be focused and understand $1 billion opportunity, stop fucking around. And yeah, there is so much upside there, like it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy for me to share that, because this is the thought that I actually came up to. This is just so crazy. Who's your exit liquidity? I would be a bit more confident in this if they would change the focus to focus on more like retail players. I think they will eventually do that, right? So I would say 8, because Pepe holders are my exit liquidity with Andy on Ethereum, because eventually they will reposition, because people are greedy, right? Is the narrative your position before that the market is not yet aware of? So this is the thesis that I'm sharing of this being a stock. We will see if this will get adopted. Ego is a bitch, definitely. Maybe it will not, because they will not want to adapt something that I'm sharing from my end. But I'm kind of a holder of this thing already. It's just exciting for me to see what has happened on the marketplace, analyze it, and share with you the results of my analysis, right? So I would say 10 if the thesis will actually get adopted. If not, it could be 1, it could be 2, but we will see. Is there a compelling story behind the project that will resonate with future holders? Hero's journey was something that pushed this thing initially. Currently, I would say that there might be not a lot of it left, but it's being pushed as Pepe beta, as Ethereum beta, it's being pushed with charts, so smart. Is this a new narrative that the market is yet to get excited about? Definitely not. Only if they will not adopt this stock thing, right? And maybe actually in the US they can't say that it's like buying like a stock of the company, because it can be, yeah, they probably should be very, very careful with the wording out there. But in general, if this type of thought will get implied into the brains, and I think the market will figure this out over time anyway. I think smart people in the marketplace that figure this out already, because I was sharing it in my Discord as well, this specific thesis. But over time, I do believe, and the same thing should be happening with Tucker as well. And I was actually speaking about these things several weeks ago, and after that, I think I saw either Kyle Chesse or Ren himself speaking about the same thing, saying as well that this is kind of like a stock, and if you're buying Tucker, you can invest into like a success of crypto banter in the first place. I think Kyle was actually someone that said that. I'm not sure if he said that after me, or he basically just came up with the same conclusion, because he's a smart guy in the first place as well, and it's not like a very complex thing to come up to as well. What do the experts think of your thesis? I was not sharing it with the experts. Kyle said the same thing about crypto banter, so I think they do appreciate it. Has this type of coin previously appealed to your exit liquidity? Yes, of course, Pepe, things like that. When you look at this project, are you able to see multiple steps ahead of promising future that is not yet priced by the market? So a lot of it in terms of Pepe beta and Ethereum beta is definitely priced in by the market already. I would say this is the main reason of why the thing got appreciated. My thesis might be a bit weaker from like default point of view, because it's definitely something interesting. It's an innovation in the marketplace, because no one is talking about memes as stocks at this stage. As stocks to be able to get exposure to the success of the company, to the success of the influencer, right? I don't know if it will get adopted, if they will actually pick this up. So I would put it at 7. Is there a die-hard cult leader leading the project who is obsessed with conquering the crypto industry, who reminds you of? He does not remind me of CZSBF or Vitalik. He's definitely a new type of influencer. He's trying to be like kind and straightforward, but he has his things, right? Market just does not see them yet. At a certain point, they might start to be obvious, but they're not like that, I would say, harsh as well. People are doing way harder things in this market, way worse things in this market, right? How viral can this go? Is this something you can see millions of people talk about? Yeah, I would say so. I would say that currently like tens of thousands of people are talking about it. And that's the issue, because upside might not be there in this stage. And that's why if you would be entering currently, you would not be getting like crazy multipliers, probably just over time, right? So you would need to hold, and you would need to accept that you might be losing on some other opportunities in the market. Is the project based on new technology, on new sector, or some sort of innovation? One say so, yeah. Has the coin been through a pump and dump market cycle? Yes, it had. What is thesis and validation? Thesis and validation, hard to say. Max dying, like company stopping to work. Whale selling, but seems like other people will pick up. No one giving a fuck because other indies started to pump and other Ethereum betas are doing better. We will see. I do expect for the thing to correct, but yeah, the stronger base current, like the strength of the PSYOP is very, very strong at this stage. So I would say 8. It's quite hard, I would say, to invalidate the thesis at this stage, right? Competitors, Andy has a bunch of competitors. It was crushing it yet to date. I would put 7, because I think that short term it will correct and competitors will run. We will see what will be happen with it. 7.75. The main reason we actually got this score is because we are pumped already. So I'm kind of projecting from the point of view of the upside at this stage. Obviously, if I would be doing the same exercise at $40 million market cap, it would have a way higher score. It will probably be like tens right? Because it's quite nice. But I was not. And I did not make money, did not make as much money because of it, right? Well, this is it. This is my presentation at this stage. I just wanted to share because I was focusing on this thing for quite some time. I just wanted to share all the thought process, all the things that I was thinking of, and the reason of me behind buying this thing, the reason of me behind holding this thing, the thesis that I came up with. We will see what will be happening. This is definitely a bet on the company, a bet on the influencer. But you can bet on the influencer, you can bet on the company, you can even bet on the chain, or you can bet on market force. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be seeing you tomorrow.